Is the video any good? No. Our video is great. Damn. Remind Kahani to disable moderation next time.
All right, I'm Brett Kinsella. We are here with Oren Aharon from Hour One. He's the CEO, founder of Hour One, and it is great to have you on, Oren. And for a lot of reasons. One is I've known you guys for a long time. Natalie Mambio from the team has been on the podcast in the past. And in fact, you guys presented at our first Synthedia conference as well, which has been really interesting. But I'm really excited you have some new tech coming out. And so we're going to show people that in just a minute. I'm Brett Kinsella, host of the Voicebot Podcast. And every week we have amazing innovators in generative AI, synthetic media, and conversational AI. And you have elements of all those at Hour One. So, Oren, before we get into the fun stuff, because we've got some really cool technology to show off, but why don't you tell people a little bit about Hour One?
Great. So thank you for having us. And Hour One is part of the generative AI, magically happening, creatively happening thing in the last, even not a year, like we have it like 10 months, all enjoying this creativity from prompts and, images and videos. So Hour One is part of this industry. And we are specializing in the virtual human aspect, where we are creating virtual humans of actual people. We call it reals. They're real people, but now in their virtual existence. And we developed a foundational model to actually do these kinds of technologies and enable anyone to come in and start creating himself, talking from text and audio and all these kinds of amazing things. And then, exploding with other environments and other platforms altogether. So Hour One is part of this motion happening today.
Absolutely. So I'm interested in the founding of this because you weren't in this space in the past. You've been in tech for a long time. You have a technical background. But what was it you saw in the market that you said, oh, we need to move into this and we need to found a company now?
It's actually a true story. And the way it worked, it was like almost 5 years ago when I've seen already the generative AI first papers coming out, and it was mind-blowing. I mean, I've seen stuff that I never seen before. I have tech background, so I went into them, start reading, and it was amazing. And then it was like an instance where it's going to change everything. It took 5 years, but it's going to change everything. Let's say, 4 years. And it was very clear. It was clear that it's a disruption, a huge disruption. And the reason we chose the virtual humans and not LLMs and not the text and the voice and all that stuff was because that was the most exciting part for us. I mean, we knew how to train everything we learned, and we showed already a virtual human talking with his voice and face sync together, the first ones to do that. But this idea of like doing it with 8 billion people and touching everyone and getting there and building these kinds of applications was truly huge potential. And we immediately fell in love in the idea that we will do it for the virtual human part. And today we are really at the place where everybody in the last 10 months got to understand like what is generative AI. Everybody knows LLMs, everybody knows images. Videos is now happening, and the virtual human part is something very exciting that actually happens in the last days. So this is where we are today.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I think when I was first introduced to Hour One, you were working with some influencers. You were creating these high resolution virtual twins, digital twins, I think maybe you called them, where you would take them into a studio and they would sit for 3 or 4 hours. I think Terrence Southern was one of the first ones that I talked to about this.
Exactly.
And then later we had another influencer from YouTube, Dom, on we first showcased him on the Synthedia 2 show. But that was more traditional. That was like, okay, I don't know if you were using CGI or another technology, but you were basically getting all these images, you were rendering it together. People were typing in scripts. They were, clicking, generally manually clicking or uploading things for the settings and the backgrounds. And it was more like the news presenter or the classroom teacher presenter mode. And that's where we were up until about a year ago, is in terms of where the product went, right?
Exactly. That were the first years. We always used Gen AI. We haven't used CGI. Yeah, that was like from first day our choice. But in the product, as you just said, we're like doing these like very in the beginning, like very basic templates and very basic environments, and virtualism is like very strict, didn't move so much. But since then we went a long way, and today we already have like a full library, all of these options, and connected all of the Gen AI. Like you don't need to write the script; you can just prompt it. You don't need to choose an image; you can just prompt it. So today it's like very easy to go and create, and then the options there just grew. I mean, in the beginning it was very learning and development, these kinds of things. And I will show you my screen soon, and you will see that now we are doing like e-commerce and social, and it's like exploding everywhere. Everyone are able to use these kinds of.
Well, the pace of innovation is really tremendous. I'm kind of interested in like why that's happening. I mean, one is like you have to build a foundation so that you actually have a product, kind of an MVP type of thing, and then just layering on all these different types of things. So obviously, OpenAI with the script writing. We had a colleague of yours on the 10 minutes on video, I don't know, 6 or 7 months ago, showing how like, it'll write the script for you. You can actually define a scene, or you can define like a flow, and it'll not just write the script, it'll create the 6 scenes associated with that for you. And so that seemed like a logical evolution based on where GPT 3.5 was at the time. I think you were integrating with, was it Stable Diffusion or DALL-E as well to sort of create images. So that seemed like, but then like where you've taken it now really strikes me as like a step above, and I wasn't expecting it this quickly.
Yes, exactly. So we'll show you this very soon.
Why don't you show it right now? You want to show it?
Yeah, let's do it. So,
Hi, I'm Oren, founder of Our One AI. What is Our One AI? Well, for an uploaded text, we generate a video and send it right to your screen. Yes, a video. Is the video any good? No. Our video is great. Damn. Remind Kahani to disable moderation next time. You can find us on Our One's Discord channel. And the party is on. I know karate, I know jiu-jitsu, and drive like a gangster when I'm coming to see you. Hi, I'm Oren, founder of Our One AI. What is Our One AI? Well, for an uploaded text, we generate a video and send it right to your screen. Yes, a video. Is the video any good? No.
But
so first of all, like shout out to Dollar Shave Club, because that looks very much like their initial viral video in terms of the idea. I love that. But for people who are just listening, and I think people who are watching might be useful there, you basically showed the clip, the full clip, and then you showed the first half of the clip. And the first half, you're actually not speaking. You're just walking through the office, and your mouth is closed. You're just like walking through the office like anybody would walk through the office. But then the treatment that you do through Reels is then it just, you had a script and it just added the script to it. It looks like you're talking the whole time very naturally.
Exactly. And the thing is, it's not edited. It's like now everyone, all of the audience can go to our Discord channel and basically try it themselves. They can capture themselves walking on, doing stuff, looking at the camera right now. This is, the main thing, but you can move freely as I did. And with yourself, by yourself, you can go and do it. So it means that it's not like we've seen stuff. We've seen what we call a few years ago deep fakes and replacing faces and all that kind of things. But now we give it to you. Like anyone can just upload any video, not just of himself, and make it talk. So the big thing here is the ability to do it is out of the box technology, and people will take it in so many directions.
Yeah. So this is amazing. Okay. So just for the thing you showed. What was that shot on? Did you have someone just like walking a camera? Was it like an iPhone? What were they using to capture the video?
Simple, the simplest iPhone, nothing unique. just holding it like this, no gimbal, nothing. You don't need it. That's the magic here. I mean, we can tilt the head, you can tilt the camera, you can shake it, someone can walk. This is this is what we've solved here, the ability to do it in motion.
Okay, so this is pretty extraordinary too, because I think about that. I maybe have done that once, but like usually not like the walking and talking. I know a lot of people that do it, and they're actually great videos, because like it just shows, like particularly when you're on site in an event or something like that. But the problem is trying to stay on script and not like just fall off. I think this is just sort of amazing that you can just walk around, add your script afterwards, and then you kind of get the best of both worlds.
Yes, exactly. And it doesn't mean that even that you need to be silent when you're taking it. It's just a bit better. But, and exactly the thing that you said, you don't know sometimes what you're going to say. So, I mean, keep it to the editor. You will just go and smile a bit. And, I was just doing these kinds of shoots, like talking about SF or Amsterdam in the past, or even showing me like in a clothing store, just holding shirts like this. And then someone uploaded the text. I was a seller. I started to sell these kinds of shirts, or I've been a tour guide about SF. So you can basically play it with it in an editing stage, not in the creation stage.
So I think too,
a lot of options.
So you haven't announced this officially yet, and I don't know exactly. Maybe you will have announced it by the time this publishes, but this is new. But I did see you shared a clip on LinkedIn. You called it Selfie Tech. Is that the name of the product, or what should we expect to see?
Actually, we call it Reels Activate. So we have Reels Mobile and we have Reels Desktop. So we call it Reels Activate because basically what you're doing is you're taking a footage. And by the way, we can do also the stock footage, and I will show you how we do it. So you upload some kind of video footage, and then you activate it. You make it talk. So this is the proper name for that.
It is great to finally speak while writing, thanks to our one new algo. Upload a stock video and make it speak from text. It is great to finally speak while writing, thanks to our one new algo. Upload a stock video and make it speak from text.
So you can really imagine like what will happen with all of this stock footage, like millions of videos out there that are, kept frozen for, 50 years, 40 years, 30 years, depending on, how you content. Now they can become live. People captured themselves like 20 years ago on stock footage. You can take it, make it talk today.
Well, so that's interesting too, because I've seen this before with images, like still images, but you're doing it with stock video. Exactly. So like I can see some similarities in the technology. Obviously we've got the idea that really what you're doing is you're making facial expressions that align with how people would say the words, right? But it's one thing to do it with a still image, which doesn't have that many points of movement. It's another where you've got this video. So like the guy's actually riding on a rural road on a motorcycle. So you've got all these other movements that are going on, and you're still trying to align just the face movements with that. And it's not like his head is always still or anything like that. You actually have to line it up.
You need to do a few things. First of all, as you said, you need to line it up. So you need to know how to work with different positions of the head. And I was walking in the corridor and just sitting and looking from the side almost. So you need to know how to do it. This is one part. The second part is we call it temporal stability. You need to be stable over time. I'm sure you are familiar with all of these amazing runway videos where the video is like a short clip, and it's very short today because it's very hard to keep the temporal stability for more than like 2-3 seconds. So this is the things that we already solved, and now everything is working together. And obviously the outcome is a natural video, and not just these kind of videos where you have like a frozen body. Everything is like an image, and basically just the head moves a bit and talk a bit. So it's a huge difference in the application, and all the time, like our one role was to work with the business industry. So obviously they need something that looks natural and not like a bit creative, but not natural. So this is why we moved into this space and this Reels Activate technology.
Yeah, I hadn't really thought about that. So the runway clips are like notoriously short. Like I hadn't really thought about that.
It's a lot. It's many short clips, exactly.
Yeah, put together. And so, and yours is like, I mean, the ones that we saw, like the one you're walking through the office was at 25 seconds or something like that.
One shot.
Yeah. And you can do several minutes. It doesn't matter. You know, once you get to 20 seconds, like you can do 20 minutes if you needed to.
Yes, exactly. And the applications are like endless, like one here that you can see on our YouTube channel.
Hello and welcome to Reels. In this video, I'm going to show you how to choose a presenter to lead your video and a voice that will fit him or her perfectly. To pick a presenter, click on the presenter icon on the top of the right.
So what you've seen here is, Sean, our customer success guy, talking, and he's not talking. He's just,
he's just sitting there staring at the screen.
Yeah, sharing, looking at the screen, moving his head a bit like this, and nicely, but he's not talking. And basically, with the prompt, with our capabilities now, you can edit this to any video, and you are in the creation industry for many years, so you know this. It takes a lot of time and effort. It takes a lot of time and effort to actually do these kinds of videos, and you don't need to do any takes anymore. The only takes is like a quiet take, and you finished. You go home.
Yeah, that's really interesting too. Yeah, I was thinking Vimeo came out with something recently, and Vimeo's been continually struggling for relevance, I think, since they sort of lost to YouTube and then got attacked by Wistia and all these other things. And they rolled out something a few months ago where it'll write the script for you, and it actually will also cut out your pauses, your disfluencies. Like if you start and stop again, like the algorithm will automatically try to stitch it together in the way that you want it. And that struck me as like really smart. Everyone else in this, is like focused on all these different types of things. And they're just like, hey, you know what? We do video capture with humans in real time. Let's just like get rid of the key barriers that people have to create videos. And, your technology obviously is just like more sophisticated from what I can see. But one of the things that strikes me is when I was talking to Natalie and your team a year ago, it was mostly about learning and development. It was about e-learning, just sort of in general. It was around news broadcasters and all these other types of things, which are these like professional roles. And I can see how you could use this technology like Reels Activate and professional. But this like opens you up much more broadly to creators. And we talked about the digital twin with Dom, and how he spent, I don't know, it was 20 minutes or an hour, whatever it was, like capturing like high 4K footage of himself so that you could create the model. And it's pretty good, but it's not as good as what you just showed me. Exactly.
So you're correct. So there are two approaches. From first day, there was like, I will help you with tech to do the editing. For example, the script are using this kind of idea where you capture something, you record yourself, and then you can edit in a very easy way. So that was one approach. And the other approach is like, let's fix it at the creation stage, which is us. Like, let's create it from text. And if you want to edit anything, you will edit in the text. So what Vimeo showed is, okay, you have the video shoot. Now you want to cut and edit and stitch everything together. They solved it very nicely. What we are doing is you don't have this situation anymore. You basically have the loop, right? Like the mime video, the source, and you then write whatever you want in any language, anytime. And as you said, now it opens up and looks much better and opens up to many more options. And the combination of everything is what we are building into our platform. So let's say we created me walking in the office, or you see the guy on the mic, but eventually it needs to be, talking some kind of a product. So you need to edit. Maybe you need to edit the titles that will come on top. You need to push in and push out intros and outros videos. You want to put it in a 3D context. So all of these options are what we had for the last year on our Reels platform. And now with this new capability, you have many more options to make it look much more natural.
Yeah. So the other thing I was thinking about just along those same lines is when Reels came out, I felt like it was a departure from where you started, in that you were really like selling direct to enterprises. And not that it wasn't like an easy platform to use and all these other types of things, but with Reels, it was just like I can just sign up and be ready to start operating immediately. Like the price point was like more accessible, I think, to like small business owners and those types of things. And then with this latest technology, like it seems like you're, you know, like smack dab in the middle to like be like a really powerful tool for creators, independent creators like YouTube creators, Instagram, that type of thing. Uh, has your business model changed? You know, was that like a deliberate step? Was it just like a natural evolution? You know, or maybe maybe I'm misreading it.
No, yeah. I mean, data points here which are correct. So we are focused on businesses. We are selling to enterprises and SMEs. This is the main focus, but we are doing it in a very efficient way. So the way we do it is like anyone can come in and test. Like, let's say you work for a big corporate like Intel or whatever, and you're coming in, you're testing, you're playing. You don't need to pay. Maybe you want to have some more stuff and download and test it in the wild. So you can pay and play. But once you basically, as a customer, understood the product and you like the product and you're using it, then it's a good time for us to meet and talk about like the main focus of the company, which is an enterprise grade package. Now, with this activity, with this technology, yes, it opens up to creators, but creators are part of the industry, are part of everyone. And the motion is basically starting a bit earlier, not just at the point where you are already set up in a content team in a company with a defined activity like learning and development, but you can test us at home. You like us, you tried us, you've done fun stuff with us. Then you learn the product, and then once you go to your day job, you can really, start implementing the things you learned in your work. And also the way it works on our platform is whoever goes in, because we have different environments, is coming in with two environments, his personal one and his job one. So work one. So he has a split and he can, play with both. He has free credits on his personal ones. So we're giving you the experience to go and test and get interested. And also creators, obviously, they will start using us more. And later down the road, they will put us in some kind of product that they built for some kind of customer, or they will be the influencer that is using this kind of technology for another company on social or TikTok. All of these things are happening.
Yeah. So like maximize flexibility in some ways. I just think that the influencers, the creators are really going to like this new solution. Is this in Reels right now, or is it about to roll out, or where are we in terms of?
So it's we have customers using it in Reels. It's in beta, so they need to apply and we open it for them. But if they want to actually test it and really, create videos that they can download, they can do it on our Discord channel. So people are coming in all the time and doing it just to show you fun stuff that people are doing. So one of them is this video where this guy is just stock footage, right? And just put the text in, and we got this.
Why every time I want to watch TV, there is nothing to see.
So you can do it today for free, test it and use it. And it's already there. You can download and share and use as well.
Okay, so Discord, and that people can come in and test and share. Sounds like a Midjourney model that there's a lot of people who've used Discord successfully, but I don't know if anybody's used it as successfully as Midjourney. Obviously, they're in the generative AI space as well. Is that part of the inspiration here, or did it just like evolve organically?
No, it's part of what happens today, and it's part of how communities are working, and we are part of the flow. So obviously, you first create the image. Out of the image with Midjourney, with Midjourney, you create the image. Out of this with Runway, ML, and others, you can you can create the video out of the image, and then you move the image to R1 and make it talk. So we've seen all of this very nice videos going out lately of trailers for future videos or concepts. And you see these kinds of images and snapshots, but they never talk. You just have the voiceover, which is okay. But now you can do it with actually talking. And listen, we are very close to the point where in a month or two, you will start seeing a small series being, using our technology, their technology, and someone will create a small series, including faces, talking between them and moving and all of these things happening. So it's very exciting. In the next few months, it will be very exciting to see.
I was going to ask you about that. You said so I was going to ask you the examples you've shown is one person in frame.
Yes.
Can you do two people in frame? Where are we? What needs to be overcome to get to that?
Exactly. So we are just at the brink of giving you more and more options there. We just need to, give you the option to say if it's the right person, the left person, choose many voices, choose more capabilities regarding the background and how you can control it. So this is being rolled out, and every week we will, roll out another capability into the Discord and obviously into our product.
Okay, so now you have voices on your platform. Do you enable voice clones, or do people bring them in from PlayHD or 11 Labs?
Yeah, sure. So we enable voice clone, and we are also the only company that enable, visual clone, like create your own virtual human. So we have an app, by the way, that we call it Reels Mobile, where anyone for free can go in and basically capture himself for 6 seconds. I can show you how it looks, and then from that, he can create his own virtual human. Now, once created, either on the app or in Reels desktop, you can go and put the text, and your virtual human will talk. It will be, even be without the background inside a template, and you can start using it as any other casted characters that we have on the platform. So, to share how it looks. Let me show you. It's a very simple capture, and the quality is super amazing.
Hey Omer, I'm your virtual twin. Did you know that giraffes have the same number of vertebrae in their necks as humans?
So this is already active, and people can go and do it. We see thousands of people capturing themselves and creating amazing content with a virtual likeness like this. So it's, again, another example of how you implement the same algorithm in a different way, and people are using it, consuming it in a different way.
Yeah. And for people who are just listening, what he showed was actually on a mobile phone, someone just basically holding the phone in front of their face. It did a countdown. It took 6 seconds of video, and that's where it was quiet, and you just heard the music. But then all of a sudden he started talking, and that was all the script, which was based on the generated human. So tell me about the enterprises that you work with. So have you shown many this technology, and what has their reaction been, or are they still working with the things that are not Activate? Some of the more traditional things where they feel like they have, they just
the old industry from 3 months ago, the old technology from 3 months ago.
Well, it's not really an old technology, but I'm trying to characterize it for the viewers and listeners. What they would. Most of them will have seen virtual humans, and they sort of know what it is. It's like, there's an embodied digital human there, just static on a screen largely, with maybe some text next to them or something like that. And they're talking. But I think this is super interesting because it's real people.
Exactly. So the concept is really, bringing this solution into realism, and think about all the options of background also, which is generated inside the content. So you will see more and more ideas that we have being rolled out. But for your question, yes. So one side, we are releasing things all the time. So once, when we released the prompt to video, everybody were super excited about this because, I don't need to think about the text. I don't need to think about the images. I just click the magic buttons and voila, I got the video done just in a few minutes. And okay, that was a stage where we moved forward and everybody liked it. And you've seen the usage and people really like this idea. And the same thing is happening here. So this technology is coming out. People are, we are showing it to customers and basically say, oh, this expands the number of use cases and the way I can utilize your platform. And there is a lot of excitement about this because it's very new and nobody imagined, as you said, that it's possible. And now when everybody is seeing it's possible, even in the free spirit of walking in the street and just capturing someone like this, walking and moving with people in the background, that just opens up more and more options. And as I said, we have few things that we can show, but we are waiting a bit, and this opens up many more options. So these ideas are great, and customers are very they like them, and helps them with more and more use cases and needs that they have in the office.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I kind of feel like what this is going to lead to is everyone realizing they don't have enough B-roll. So they're going to create all sorts of B-roll of themselves just walking around different interesting places. They're like, oh, I'm here. Let me just capture myself not saying anything. And then maybe, 6 months from now, I'll pluck that out of the air and I'll add a text script to it.
Exactly. So you touch upon a very important part. So if on the app, for example, we captured you to create your virtual human, now we are soon to be released the ability to create these B-rolls. So keep them and create them and keep them because, one day maybe you want to do like an interview on a podcast, or one day you want to do like somewhere in the streets. And it's funny because, we thought about the industry, and the film industry started with silent movies, remember? So nobody spoke and you had the text on the side. So we are coming back to that. And we will be, because you can talk, but doesn't matter so much. Someone will change it later on. So, you don't have to talk. You just need to do something silent like Charlie Chaplin, and then someone will, finish the work for you. So it's a cycle, which is interesting to see how this cycle behaves.
And you mentioned that earlier, like, so I could actually walk through a place. I could be talking, and then I could take that same footage and I could just put a new script to it, and it wouldn't have mattered that I was talking. It would just like change the mouth movements to what the new script is.
Exactly. We've seen it working a bit better, a bit more accurate with not talking, but it's something that we are solving right now, and you can do both. So that will not be a matter. It wouldn't matter if it's like talking or not.
Okay, so like the creator use cases are pretty straightforward. We know about learning and development because we know from a learning and development standpoint that as opposed to just a screen, if you have some sort of virtual human or a real human, actually people are more engaged. They learn faster. So there's a lot of benefits there. And we've seen some of these news and entertainment use cases. One of the things that your company's spoken about in the past too is that, for internal presentations, like as opposed to like you're just sending a slide deck or something like that, you could send a video of yourself with a slide deck. I'm interested in that and some of these other use cases that people may not be familiar with, and maybe getting a sense from you of what's getting adopted the fastest from a use case standpoint.
What's going to?
What's getting adopted the fastest from a use case?
Adopted. Okay.
Yeah.
So I will show you like the platform, and the platform basically show it based on the template. So as you said, we started with these kinds of learning and development templates, and today we have like hundreds of templates on the platform. So obviously all these educational videos were like the first ones, but then like very still, this with a suit, standing like a teacher and showing stuff. And then we moved into product marketing because we have all of these capabilities of like moving you inside a computer or inside of a phone and creating these amazing things, which are more product marketing style. So this was the second one to be adopted. And actually, we see more product marketing videos coming out more than learning and development today. Very recently, we've seen the news coming up and down. We have like companies like Define Suite and others using news all the time, but news became something crazy in the past few weeks. And we have a known anchor in Israel, Yaakov Eglon, who has basically built his own company with our technology. So the website is creating news for companies on a daily basis. So you can go and try it. And then lately, we've seen e-commerce growing a lot. These videos are different. They need to show a store, and soon someone is walking in the store. So again, these kinds of ideas are coming out. And social, that's the last one that we've seen. So social media, the thing there is that you need to create tons of videos on a daily basis, and it's very, very hard to create the amount of videos needed to be published, and so many concepts. So this is the solution. Now you can create yourself once, and then go and create these kinds of social videos. This is a wellness type of a video that we created, and you don't need to actually capture yourself more than once. And this is exactly what we are seeing. Like more and more applications are moving from banners to videos, because the time it takes to create the banner is the same time that it will take you to create the full video. So this is very exciting, because it's just growing and expanding to so many applications and use cases.
Yeah. So one of the other things I think that I want to ask you about was, so we create videos here at Voicebot because we're a news organization. We do these types of interviews. We have some conferences, but it's educational stuff. And then we have clips. So, this is going to be a long form video. We'll probably have some clips from this that we'll put out. But one of the challenges is that it's horizontal. It's 16:9. It's not vertical video.
So formats, exactly.
Yeah, the format's wrong, right? And so so we can do clips that are horizontal, and that does fine. But like if I can put them in vertical and they show up in YouTube Shorts, or we can use them on other platforms, like even more powerful. So do you have a way in the platform that it automatically can convert it to vertical from horizontal?
Yeah, I mean, what you are familiar with is like, again, the editing concept of like these companies are taking horizontal and converting it into vertical. Basically, you lose something or you get some kind of effect. You don't really get the same thing. With us, it's different. You finish a video, you like it, it's vertical, you want to move it to horizontal, no problem, because we will align the design for you. We'll keep the text, you'll keep yourself as a virtual human, the same voice, the same assets. Everything will work the same, but now it's designed fully horizontally, and you're getting a much better outcome. First of all, you don't need to do anything. You just move the same project to a different template and recreate. So 2 clicks basically, and you get something which is not you don't comprise. You don't need to basically comprise on anything, but you get everything you wanted in the same thing. The asset wouldn't be cut on the side. It would be really restructured to work in the best way for you.
I see.
So you don't need to compromise on anything, and you get the best results.
So you can go from vertical to horizontal. Can you go from horizontal to vertical?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, the easiest way to do that sometimes is just stacking, right? That's what most people do in post. If they have a horizontal, they'll stack it. They'll pull out the
we basically create the same. We create the same template in 2 designs. So it's the same template, the same colors, the same style, the same, everything is the same, but in two designs. So you're just moving from a single, one design to the other design, and everything is set up, and you can move from horizontal to different types of vertical setups. Because if you want to set up for TikTok, it's different from the setup for any other type of Instagram, for example. So it's really important for you, not just if it's vertical or horizontal, but the setup is also very interesting and important for you. TikTok, you get like the person is on the bottom, the asset is on the top, and the text is in the middle, for example, which is different from Instagram. So you will choose based on the platform you are going to basically launch it on.
Oh, that's fascinating. Okay, so let's talk about the tech a bit. You talked about this idea that you were generative AI first from the beginning. So what are some of the techs you're using? Is it a GAN? I know you're using third-party LLMs. Maybe eventually you'll have your own. I don't know how that goes, but could you talk a little bit about the tech stack? Because I know there's a lot of people who are watching today and listening who are very technical, and they'll be interested in how you've approached this and maybe how it's different than some of the other players in the industry.
Yeah, so GANs were really at the beginning when we started, but today it's like a huge assemble of a lot of algorithms that we've built into our foundational model. So you've built this stack of algorithms, and then you go and train them. So in order to be there, you need to build, and this is one of the things that all of these LLM companies and foundational companies are doing. And by the way, they're trying to do it very fast with a lot of data, so it costs a lot of money. We've done it throughout the 4 years, so we've built it very slowly, but we have it. So you get these kinds of data. We have from the studio, from other locations, other studios. We have it from the phone. We have it from stock footage, and all of these things are coming in and being trained on. And we are training this assemble and creating our own foundational model of the virtual human. And we activate him from text or from audio, and we create these virtual humans from video, from a short video capture. So this is the thing that we've built in the past 4 years in the company. And then we have another layer in the stack, which is the product stack. So in that product stack, obviously, we utilize LLMs, different LLMs into the product. We are doing it in a way which is not just one, but multiple, and not one region, multiple regions, because we want to orchestrate a lot of capabilities, not to be in a situation where, I don't know, OpenAI has a problem, but you can actually do it also on Microsoft Cloud. So all of these options are in our platform, and it's something that which the user doesn't see. It's seamless for him, seamless for him. And then we are using 10 voice providers, basically all the best of the best in the industry, to clone and to use casted voices in 80 languages, and also generated images. So, whatever we can take from the outside, which is helping the product, we take it. Whatever needs to be done in order to create the virtual human, we build it and put it on the API and on the product as well. So we have these two layers of the API and the product that we are utilizing.
Yeah. So at the model layer, it sounded like, are you creating like a mini model for every virtual human or every customer? How does that work?
Yeah, sure. So actually, because we already created a huge amount of generated faces, when you have tons of data, we infer most of it. We don't need to retrain with people's faces. We already got to a point where we can only inference. Sometimes people want to get some kind of a better layer, better quality, a bit better. So then we train with the actual data, but obviously it needs to be approved, and then we put you on the data. So it's like personalizing the data, like in LLMs where you personalize for a company, we personalize the likeness for someone specific. But so overall, it works very good.
It's kind of like the difference between, I won't say generic, but sort of a catalog of face shapes, styles, and that type of thing that are then you do face swapping on versus building a model around a particular image.
Yeah, sure. I mean, we are not doing all of this very technical face swapping and getting part of the hair and getting part of the face and doing these kind of very sophisticated. No, I mean, everything comes out of the net that we created, the neural net that we created, and the foundational model as one layer.
Okay. I'm also interested in the mouth movements, just like very specifically how you do that and how that changes based on the language, because we've seen a lot of people are familiar with text to speech, and some others are familiar with speech to speech, and the speech to speech is where an actor basically says whatever the talk track or sings the song or whatever in the other language, and that helps with this. But I was interested in your thoughts on that, in terms of like how you handle that and where the different levels of quality are in terms of matching mouth movements and making it seem, as seamless as possible in the same video, for example, where you might be switching from one language to another.
Sure. So obviously, every language has different types of mimics in the way it moves the face. So this is one of the things we are developing with the virtual human. So improving the ability of a face to talk in any language is something that we are working on. There are languages that you see more the tongue. There are other languages where you see very small motions of the face, very fast ones of the mouth. So all of these elements are part of the things that we are training all the time. So training people coming from different languages is very important. And this eventually solves the problem of how a language operates a face in a good quality. So this is one thing. The other thing is like what happens when you're doing, different inputs. So how do you input? How do you get to the point where the voice is in different language? So already today from the prompt in our system, you can prompt in different languages. So you can say, the same ad or the same description, but in French, and everything will come in French, and we have French voices, and this is how it works. Eventually, another use case where you describe the speech to speech, or let's say a virtual human to a virtual human, you want to take elements from a behavior and turn them to another behavior, or a sound in French and turn it into a sound in English. So today it moves through the text. Obviously, it's not the best. To map a language to a language only in voice level, it's difficult, yes, but it's possible. And I believe we will see it very soon coming out from different providers will create a voice-to-voice or language-to-language direct without going through the text layer.
Got it. And just so if people are not familiar with that as much, look back in the Voicebot podcast where I had the Respeecher founder on, and we talk at length about this. Maybe some of the conversations with Metaphysic as well would be useful for people as background. In terms of other languages, you support English, other languages today?
Yeah, 80 languages on our platform. And it's really interesting. I thought it will cover what people need, and actually doesn't. People need more. So accents and languages, like, okay, something that 80 is not enough. So probably we'll end up with a few hundred at the end. But yeah.
And that's 80 for like native, if I'm like just starting with it. But how about switching between languages, like same text, like you can use those same 80 languages?
Yeah, you can switch, like, let's say you've done something and you have it in one language. You can, like, we don't do translation, but we do recreation in the second language.
Yes.
And then it moves to because translation is a bit static and recreation makes more sense, because then you actually follow the language pattern. So this is what we prefer to do. And then you can basically bring the new voice and generate the video again.
Got it. And so right now, though, if you're switching between languages, it's probably going to be different voices.
Yes, actually not. I mean, because we are not doing the voices ourselves and we are using providers. So there are providers which provide the same voice in different languages. So you can do it as well. You just need to know which ones to choose.
Got it. Okay. So a lot of things changed in our industry. Last November 30th was sort of the catalyst. There were, a lot of the technology was out there, but it's just like everything came together, high performance, easy to adopt user interface. All these things came together, and it changed so quickly, changed people's perspective on what was possible and what they should expect. So I mentioned a couple different things, but we can just start with, how do you think the ChatGPT moment changed your business?
ChatGPT had a lot of influence on our business because, first of all, when we worked and created, and our platform was already out there, and also all of these text platforms were out there, but November 30th was actually the moment where everybody started to test and get excited about it. And then it opened up people, because before people were like saying to us, nobody will use it. Nobody will touch these kinds of things. Nobody will touch text, LLMs. Nobody will generate these kinds of things for actual use. And immediately when it started, it's basically a paradigm shift. Everybody liked it. It was very comfortable. People fell in love with it. Everybody installed it on their desktops, now on their phones. Everybody using it. So that's the major shift. And it's a shift in behavior. And as you know, from all of the shifts that you can do, technology or product or whatever, shifting behavior is the most amazing thing. It's like the biggest thing that you can do. So that was it, and a very important one. And obviously for our product, because when Lior and I created the company 4 years ago, as I said, we knew how to train voices, we knew how to train text, we knew how to train images, but we decided to do the virtual humans and to build the compositor. Basically, Reels is the compositor of the generative AI space. And we knew that everybody are working, and one day we'll start integrating. So we were like very ready for this. And once it was released, we are like the first ones to integrate in the text, the image, everything is already in. We see other companies in the space haven't done it yet, but we decided to do it because it was obvious for us that it's one thing. When you're creating a video, you have text layers, you have audio layers, you have images layers, you have assets, you have all of these things that you need to have, because video is the place where everything is being composed to one big sandwich. So that's what we've decided to do, like already 4 years ago. Just been waiting to see when it happened, and once it happened, we actually put it into the product. So it's a great win because we didn't spend any time on building these kinds of technologies in the past.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it was like very efficient.
I like the idea of the compositor, because this is the place where all these things come together. And that's why a year ago, we've been obviously at Voicebot, we've been covering these technologies since 2017. A lot of people don't even know that they were around then. 2018 with BERT, was sort of the original LLM in a lot of ways. But last year, it was actually June of last year, Eric and I sat down and we said, geez, there's a lot of these things that we'll put in. We talk about it in terms of the output, which is synthetic media, as opposed to generative AI, which is the input, right? It's like how you get there as opposed to the output. But we said there's all these things that are coming together. And what we found was really interesting in the trends, because we started seeing things going on with Stable Diffusion and DALL-E 2 and all these other types of things. We said, hey, what's really interesting is these things are great on their own, but they're more interesting when you put them together. And we just saw that and that's why we created this idea of synthedia and sort of the synthetic media future, and that generative AI is sort of the key enabler of it. And so, I think it's really fascinating that a lot of people haven't been thinking about this. I had a guy on one of our Synthedia conferences who created the first video that got like a film award in a film festival. And, he created it just with a few different technologies, putting it together. And, ultimately, he basically created a award-winning short film on his desktop in 4 hours.
So remember, we've done the first clip before that.
You've done the first clip before that. What are you saying?
You're like talking about it like with Taryn before.
Oh,
so
right.
Clip was actually done before.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. But did I win a film festival award? I was just like thinking about that.
But we didn't win anything. People just liked it. It was
and that was great. And I talked to Taryn about that, and she's like a great influencer and sort of futurist in this space.
It was like a full clip with our song and everything, and it was there. But yeah, I mean, amazing to see. And I think what I'm expecting to see very soon is just people coming with series of videos, not just short ones, just series of content being created in a generative AI tool, and it will look different. It will be different, but I'm sure it will be very creative and very interesting, and people will love them, and people will consume them, and we'll see it like this year. Before the end of the year, you will see these kinds of things, things going out. I don't know, maybe Netflix, maybe others, but it will be out there, and people will watch it.
Yeah, I think I'm going to try to use some more of it. I've used R1 to create some videos, like some news coverage videos, like promotional things from time to time. In part for my audience, it's great because they love it that I'm using the technology to do it. It's not like, oh, Brett's not on the screen. It's just like, they're like, oh, that's cool because like I'm using the technology that we cover in order to do that. But like, particularly with this new Activate technology, I was just thinking I've got a program coming up and maybe we'll do some or all the episodes using this. That might be kind of fun.
Yeah, start walking. Stop sitting there in the.
That's right. Just like
in the
chatting with you.
walking. And then you can basically also upload your voice to the person walking. You don't need to write the text. So you can do a podcast, but the entire podcast you are walking and shopping in the mall, and I don't know,
Oh, wait a second. I didn't understand this. So I could actually record the script. I don't have to like write the script out. I could just record it. Could I do that? Could I just like, I could talk, I could do a 2-minute script. I just talk and then I just pick my B-roll somewhere and I just upload the recording and it'll actually fuse it together.
Exactly. I think the guys are releasing this tomorrow into the Discord channel. So you can capture yourself doing so many chores and these B-rolls, and then take a podcast and make the podcast basically happen.
Maybe I should do like landscaping LLMs. So I could tell people about the history of large language models while I'm cutting the lawn or trimming bushes. It'd be sort of fun.
You can send it to your family and basically say, I'm working all the time, but headset and I'm doing all the chores. You see, it's like, this is the proof. So yeah, I mean, you can do it. It's possible.
That's really fun. Okay. Oren, this has been amazing. How can people learn more, check out this technology? Where do they go?
So people can test us on Discord, as I showed before, and test the product self-service. Basically go in, you don't need to pay. You can try it, create videos, share it with other people, invite your friends, work together. Everything is freemium. And on iOS, you can go and use our Reels by Our One platform and Reels Mobile, and basically create your own virtual human, create content, and share it from the phone as well. So all of these options are there for you to enjoy and be very creative. Go and do it.
That's great. And I'm going to check out the mobile app. I've used the desktop app a number of times, but I actually don't think I've ever used the mobile app. So I'm going to try that. I think this is really clever too, that you're going to allow people to capture B-roll within the app as opposed to just like doing it on their iPhone and uploading it later, because then it's like just makes it that much easier. Because you're just like, oh, if I'm going in creating, I'm just like, oh, here's my B-roll, and just match them up and then produce. And this is what we all need. It like takes a lot of time to do these types of things, to create things. So if you remove friction, it's going to give us more time to like think and learn and have conversations like this.
Exactly. And be more creative and do many things and not limited anymore by technology.
All right, folks, I'm Brett Kinsella. This has been the Voicebot Podcast. I really appreciate Oren joining me today, telling about a little bit more about Hour One and the latest technology, like pre-release discussion and demonstrations. So that's been amazing. Thanks a lot, Oren, for joining me.
Okay, and all of the video we created right now with me was generated from text. No, I'm joking. It was actually there.
That would be cool. In fact, that's what we should focus on. Our next interview should be all created.
All created. We'll do it. It's a good idea. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye, everyone.